So,
Oh,
we
there
just
you go.
started recording, so I'm just going to quickly reiterate. Today, we're going to talk about why we get triggered, what happens, what's actually happening when we get triggered. And, these triggers happen in all areas of our life, at work, in our home relationships, in our family of origin relationships. And there's reasons why these triggers happen. But we're going to, today, Shashi and I are going to talk about how to navigate these triggers. First of all, what's happening when we do get triggered and how we can navigate them. And we'll share a couple, this just happened to us last night. And I was triggered by something Shashi did. And we'll just talk about how that went. So for those of you listening, I'm Rick Moraj, and this is Shashi Moraj, and we are talking about everything relationship on Ignite Your Life. And do you want to say anything before we get started? Shashi just came in here. She was a little bit late, and in the middle of some real estate business.
Hi, Monica. Hi, April.
Real estate dealings.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So life's a little bit hectic right now, and there are great opportunities for us to be triggering each other, and so that's when these triggers come up, right? When there's stressful situations come up.
And so whatever it does when we do get triggered, it's because there's unhealed parts of us. And so those are opportunities to look within to see why are we getting triggered. And so what's going on for us right now is we're in the middle of a lot of transition in our lives, like moving from full-time career that I've had, and I'm moving into full-time business. And I'm also moving into more real estate investments. And so I'm kind of like, taking a lot of initiative to invest our funds into growing them bigger. And this was kind of a turning point in my life a few years ago where I realized, like, through things that had happened to me, events that had happened to me, that I was getting so angry about because people that I trusted were investing my money in the wrong way and losing my money. And I internally knew that I was smart enough to do my own investments, but I wasn't taking any action, and I was not taking control. And so I was allowing—
Those people she's talking about, by the way, are me.
That's one person, and then also some brokers that I had trusted, like financial people from Primerica, from Canaccord, and assuming they knew what they were doing because they're financial people. So let me just hand over my money and let them invest it. And as my investments that I had saved started to plummet and go down, and I got extremely triggered, like extremely angry, extremely mad. I went through months of like feeling so mad that I just was, I was blowing up, basically, is what was going on. And when I started to connect with what was happening for me, I realized how mad I was at myself. I was so mad at myself for not utilizing the intelligence and the skills and the gifts that I was born with, which is, I know numbers, I know how to grow wealth. I was born with the capacity, or not born with it, but as a child, I was good with this stuff, and I knew I was good with numbers, I was good with money, but I wasn't embracing it. I was almost embarrassed to be of my own skills. So I had to connect with that. And once I had that realization, it was like there was no stopping me. I was like, I bought 2 properties as investments in outside of our area in Squamish. And I had a real affinity for this area because I loved nature. I loved mountains, and I just loved the area. And at the time, the property was so cheap. It was, I didn't think it was cheap, but now looking back, it was like dirt cheap. Like there's properties going there now for $1 million and up, and even just to buy like a townhome. And this is like 10 years ago when I was in this mode of investing. Or actually 4 years ago, I bought another 2 or wanted to get another 2 in that area. And now we're going through another transition where I'm wanting to invest more. And I'm just I get so like fueled up and pumped and everything, like it really gets me going. So so there's that, but also because my business has been doing so well, that I've been growing on the side, I'm using the income from there to buy more property. So I'm taking like a chunk of money and I'm growing it to a bigger chunk of money. Whereas before, what I would have done is taken my chunk of money and said, you go deal with it, like someone else go deal with it, and not think about it, and then not feel empowered. So now I have this feeling of empowerment. And so what was going on yesterday, what you
so with these properties, the real estate, Sashi does a lot of the financial side of things, finding the properties and assessing and some of the banking stuff. Well, we both do the banking stuff together, but I do a lot of the repairs, technical, fix it up, make it rentable, whatever. Anything breaks down, I can fix. I'm pretty handy,
hands-on
with that stuff. And so she was looking at a property yesterday, and she goes, oh, I think it needs painting. And then she's looking at some pictures, and I said, yeah, well, it's easy. Yeah, we could paint it. We can change out the kitchens and cabinet. I'm just thinking what we could do. And she goes, oh, we're gonna rent it. We don't need to do any of that. Like, you don't know what, I don't know. She didn't say you don't know what you're talking about, but it sounded like that to me. It sounded like I was
the tone that I used,
being talked down to.
Yeah, the tone that I used in that moment, Rick felt talked down to. And I'm thinking back to when I actually made that comment, and I was already calculating numbers in my head. And like I was looking at what the payoff will be, what type of tenant, and I already had all these things in my mind because I've been doing all this research about what's rentable, what the rates are, what the market's like over there. So I had all these information that I hadn't communicated to him because he's not doing the same kind of like following that market. I've been following that market for probably 10 years. So I have my finger on the pulse of what's happening there. And I start getting ahead of myself in my mind because I'm like, moving ahead. And then to me, it feels like, oh no, he's back here. And like, and I'm just wanting to quickly move ahead. And I was impatient and I used an impatient tone. And then Rick took that as like being talked down to and being condescending, that I was being condescending towards him. And then what happened?
Yeah, and not only just condescending. So she was like she had her masculine energy on as well.
Yeah.
And so I felt like because I know the numbers as well, not as well as her, but I know that it's always one thing's clear: a nicer place is easier to rent, and so to me it's a no-brainer to do some of these things. Anyways, but what I felt was like, wow, it's like she doesn't care what I have to say. She's just going ahead and like I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. And that's what I was feeling. And that's what was coming up for me. And it wasn't because, she just said what she said, right? Hey, Katrine, how you doing? She just said what she said. But what happened for me was these other feelings from, feelings from my childhood, other times in my life where I felt, stupid or talked down to, or
when you were a kid.
Yeah, and mostly kid, teenager, and those are the emotions that came up for me, and then that's when I actually got triggered, but I was able to recognize it, and I actually said to Sashi, I didn't I just told her, I didn't like it when I felt like I was talked down to. I told her exactly what I was
Well, you
feeling.
should sort of shut down first.
Yeah, first I put my headphones in and stopped listening to what she was saying.
You did. And then I was still trying to show you the thing on my phone. And I
Yeah.
asked you what your opinion was, and you said, well, or I said, why weren't you talking? I think I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, well, you know what you're doing. If you don't want to paint, don't paint. Or something like that.
Yeah. Where you kind of shut down.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as I was there, sort of angry, not sort of angry, just thinking, listening to whatever else I had on the audiobook or whatever. And then I thought, well, I should tell her what's happening for me. So that like this doesn't happen again. And so she knows,
But it was
I'm
a part
ignoring.
pattern break, because you wouldn't have done that probably, previously. What would have been your regular reaction?
So, before I had done any of this work on myself, getting to recognize my patterns and knowing what triggers me, and that argument or that feeling would have went on for a week.
Because you would have stayed mad.
Yeah, I would have just stayed
And then I would
angry,
have tried to
thinking, wow, she doesn't respect me. She, like she thinks I'm an idiot, blah blah blah. And then I think, and then I started opposing her, like, well, I don't think we want to. I'm not going to paint that place. That place sucks. Whatever. I don't think we should get it, or whatever would come up.
Oh, Juan Carlos.
Whatever would come up, and I would start to oppose.
We need to
her.
talk to Juan Carlos. We're looking for a yoga retreat, meditation retreat in Mexico for Christmas time. So send us your best recommendations, Juan Carlos.
Yes. So I would stay in that funk for a week, and I'd be angry, and that pattern would run. But this time it was like a pattern break. I'm sitting there, I'm mad, sort of steaming, trying to ignore Sashi, and then I thought, I should tell her what's happening for me, and it's the training. I've trained myself to do it. It's not nice, it's not natural. My natural tendency is to stay mad or
and to tense up.
Yeah.
And then what happens to your breathing when you tense up?
Yeah, so you tense your body up, you're breathing shallow.
Right? You get shallow breathing, and then your body gets more rigid.
Yeah.
And so when you're
and your heart rate.
That's okay. I can do
your
that.
heart rate speeds up because you're under the stress. You feel like you're under the stress. All sorts of things, brain shuts down, the oxygen, your oxygen in your body, your immune system goes down.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, a lot of things happen.
Your body just starts to shut down.
And so you could have been in that state for days. And then what would have happened is then I would have kept I would have been then gotten triggered and said, oh my God, he's just ignoring me. And there's this big thing happening. And like, why isn't he paying any attention? And then I would have felt unseen, unheard, and that would have triggered me more. And then I would have started getting mad at him and speaking in a hostile tone to you. And then it would have just been like 5 or 6 days of
snowball.
Yeah. Snowball. And then we wouldn't even really know why we were fighting at that point. Like it would just be this hostility in our relationship and this tension, and the kids would be feeling it, but we wouldn't be able to trace it back to that's what happened. So by being aware of what's happening in our bodies, and by you feeling what was going on for you and how you went from feeling relaxed to feeling tense, and then why, and then telling me, and then I changed my tone. Right.
Yeah. So she immediately changed as soon as I told her what was happening for me. I guess she came out of her business mode and came into relate. Oh yeah, we're in this together. And then it was so much more productive. That we were able to, we both were able to input into, our 2 bits, and now, we'll make a decision based on that. But it would have been a strained decision.
Yeah.
If we hadn't done,
And we can
talked through.
create so much more as a couple when we're both on the same page. Because just think about how much energy you spend doing this against each other, and you waste all that energy like fighting against each other when you can create something so much more amazing. Like we might be, end up purchasing 1 or 2 more real estate investments, getting them all ready, flipping them, our wealth grows, everything grows. Spirituality, we've grown in our relationship because of that discussion that we just had, versus, and then our health is better too, because we're breathing deeper, we're connecting within ourselves, we're on the same page, we're making meals together, we're thinking, we're conscious, right? It's all about being aware and being conscious. So we're improving our health, we're growing spiritually, we're building wealth together,
absolutely.
right? And in so many ways, wealth being financial wealth, wealth being our relationship wealth, the wealth of our family, everything. When I say wealth, and we have wealth in Ignite Your Life, we're talking about abundance in every area of life, in our business, in our finances, in our health, in our family life, in our spirituality, and all of that. That's what we mean by wealth.
Yeah.
And our wealth does keep growing ever since we have come together and been on the same page and bring our strengths into it. So we talked at the beginning about how I went through that time where other people were touching my finances and doing whatever, and how I was getting very angry. And ever since I've taken control of that and felt empowered of being able to use my strengths in the relationship and be honest and open about things. And we've been able to bring both of our strengths into our real estate investments with Rick's handy skills and his technical skills, and being able to know what needs to be done, and just from a handyman perspective, and save so much money on contractors and things like that, or going around and picking up materials. And there's all these things that need to be done, which if he wasn't here, I'd have to hire contractors, and he may not be even investing in real estate if it wasn't for me. So there's all these strengths that you can bring and grow together when you really value each other's skills, and you communicate, and you're open, and you can know what's going on within ourselves, versus like fighting. And we see so many couples now who are breaking apart, they're divorcing.
Well, they're just standing guard. They're holding on to this idea of being right.
Yeah.
Being right is like so detrimental to a relationship.
Yeah, because you're just so entrenched in your view.
Forget about being nice, be kind. If you could just let go of being nice,
I
or
posted
being right,
yeah,
and replace that with kindness. It's a game changer. Who cares about being right? Because in the end, we're all wrong at some level.
Yeah.
No matter what, if you might be right today, in the future, that probably will end up being wrong. Because life is meant to be, a series of getting to know learnings, mistakes, failures, all this stuff, so that we can grow. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Sid, great to see you on. We don't want to make this too long, but I do have some mechanical, what happens mechanically when we're getting triggered. Do you want to say anything more?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's really about slowing down, because that's my biggest thing, is I'll get triggered and then just go quickly on, and then not really realize what happened. So by dissecting it, slowing down, and really going inwards to know really what happened, like how did I feel? And this has happened to me before, where Rick has said something and I felt dismissed by his comment, and felt like slighted by it, and then felt really hurt. But rather than tell him that it hurt me, I would project back at him and say something hurtful back. And that's what so many of us do in a fight. Like, we feel hurt, but rather than say that we're hurt, because we think we don't want to be weak, we don't want to be the weak one, so then we protect our heart and we hurt the other person and say something mean back. And really, that's how wars are created in the world, by doing that. Right? So
and one of my mentors, Dwayne O'Kane, always says, you know, as soon as you get triggered or feel attacked, reflect rather than reload. Because we always, you know, we reload, we're ready to fire back. And he always says, reflect rather than reload. So I love that saying.
Yeah.
But since Sashi talked about it, you know, we talk about reactions, and we all react to something that's said, which is basically trigger. Trigger is anything that causes a reaction. The triggers we're talking about are negative reactions, right? So when we get triggered, what's happening is this anger comes up, and what actually happens is that anger is actually protecting our pain. You know, there's below that anger, there's a pain, and that pain has arrived from usually a childhood trauma, a childhood experience where we were traumatized. So in the instance that you know, Sashi, you know, talked down to me and I felt stupid. Well, that feeling of feeling stupid arised from my childhood, because in those ages where we get programmed, like from between 0 and 7, we're just being subconsciously programmed. And when we receive, you know, when we feel something, we're very, you know, we don't have the cognitive processing to process, you know, what's been said. We just feel. So if we are made to feel stupid, we can't process all the everything that happened around that event and rationalize it and go, okay, well, I'm not really stupid. It's, you know,
it's just a feeling that stays in your body.
Yeah.
That feeling is in your body, and then as a child you never got to release that feeling or feel comforted and feel loved for who you were. Even though you had that feeling, you got embarrassed by that, having that feeling. You didn't want your parents to know, or whoever. You didn't have a safe place. You'd hide it, and then that feeling stays in your body. And then when I came at you and said that comment about the paint, then you got the feeling in your body and automatically went into that shutdown mode. So, and all of us have that, like, where the feelings.
And that feeling is actual and actually an energy that is blocked or trapped or left in our bodies.
So that's why even when you go for an acupuncture treatment or something, and they make the energy flow through your body, why you come out of there feeling calmer and feeling more relaxed, it's because the energy is flowing, and those are the feelings that have not been processed in your body. Yeah.
So last week we talked about knowing your partner's story. So what made our us shift instantly is because Sashi knows my story, I know hers, and as soon as I told her what was happening for me, she, because she knows my history and what I've been through and how I felt as a kid and how I feel today and what emotions I hold on to, she automatically could have compassion for me and realize, like, okay, we're in this together, we're partners. And even be above that, not only like partners physically married, we're connected spiritually, and we actually believe our souls came together. They made a contract to come together so that we could heal each other and heal those emotions that we're holding on to for each other. So being triggered is actually a gift. Think of it as a gift. This is your angel pointing to you what energy, what emotions you're holding on to, and what you want to release in your body. And the way we release it is to feel them. And there's many ways to do that. There's meditation, there's breath work. I personally love breath work. I have a practice every morning. But there's energy healing modalities, lots of ways to release that emotions, those energy, that feeling. But you truly need to feel them for them to be processed. So So I want to end with that, unless you want to add something more.
No, I think that's good for
Yeah.
today. I think we've talked a lot, but I'd love to see some comments of how this is helping you guys, what questions you have, what you'd like to see us cover going forward. What is the biggest question in your mind right now, having watched this and having watched our previous weeks? What are you what's going on for you? How is this helping? How is this helping you process your own relationship? What questions are still remaining? I'd love to have some of that feedback here in the chat. Would be very, very helpful for us.
Absolutely.
And then also you have your Black Friday thing that you wanted to also mention about.
Yeah. So those of you listening on podcast, if you want to get in touch with us for any feedback, theman@rickmirage.com. You can use that email. Actually, we should use blessed with stay young.
Yes, but you also have your program coming up.
Yeah, so I have a Wired for Connection 6-week program that I offer, and we do breath work, and we do feel our emotions, and we do get to the bottom of getting triggered and how to navigate being triggered and knowing your partner's story. But it's more about self-learning, self-healing. And Black Friday coming up, we're going to have a flash sale. Normally it's $9.99 for this 6-week program. I'm going to offer it for $500.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And what are some of the results people were getting?
So the results people are getting are forgiveness of family members that they were just holding on to for years, all their life. You know, people have started to actually reconnect with their members of their family. One man, you know, reconnected with his father. They virtually play chess every week now, have great conversations. Also, you know, people discover a lot of people discover what they're holding on to through some of the breath work. It's a discovery process. Trauma, they realize they had these traumas that they actually weren't even aware of. So
the thing is about this, it's just for Black Friday. Like that price is not going to be offered any time going forward. That's just a one-time thing. And so if you are interested, like there will be a limited number of spots. It'll be, once it's full, it's full. So if you're thinking about doing it, so
now's the time. You can get in touch with me, the man, at rickmirage.com. I'm on Facebook, Rick Maharaj. If you're connected with Sashi, you can get in touch with her.
I'm at younger@shashimaharaj.com. I have my anti-aging business, hair products, skin, supplements, anything to do with energy. So, and if
business building,
business building, and taking your energy to the next level through vitality. My hair, everything has just gotten younger since I've been involved in this business. So,
okay, everybody, just remember, being triggered is a gift, just like Katrine put in the chat. Being triggered is a gift. That's your angel coming here to help you heal.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See everyone next week.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.